Today, People Make Games is in Michigan. I'm here to see Jerry Gretzinger because I want to see his map. Jerry's map started as a doodle in the early 1960s, and although he did take what he now describes as a 20-year coffee break, he's spent most of the decade since then adding to it and adding to it, almost every single day. He is now 84, and this map, made up of thousands of unique contiguous panels, is his life's work. This isn't a map to a real place. We knew that going in. What we didn't know is that over the decades it had evolved into something else entirely. The map now has over 4,000 panels, and I'm here to help Jerry assemble it for the first time in over 14 years. Isn't that right, Jerry?
Right.
With the help of more than 20 volunteers, we'd have 3 days to construct Jerry's map like a vast hallucinogenic jigsaw. But our first stop was meeting Jerry and his wife Meg at their farm. So far, we'd only read about Jerry's daily process, which is like a ritual, and we wanted to watch it firsthand.
You want to go up to the studio?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So here's the thing about Jerry's map. Its endless growth and regrowth is dictated by a deck of cards that Jerry is forever tinkering with. He flips a card off the deck and has no choice but to do what it says. The deck looks like it's haunted, and it's forbidden to even shuffle it unless the deck orders you to.
Always draw off the bottom.
So we've
Okay.
got a 17 that reads
Yes.
next higher dimension.
Yep. So that's pretty exciting. I have to look behind you here. There's this calendar. There's the last card that we worked on, North 22, East 29. So that's going to be the starting point here. So we're going to go down 17 panels. 1, 2, 3, 17.
Nice.
Here, the little yellow dot is the epicenter of this panel, and it also tells me what level this panel is at.
When you talk about levels, do you mean like levels of verticality?
Sort of, yeah.
How would you describe it?
Well, initially it was considered to be other dimensions of reality.
Right, like 3-dimensional space, 4-dimensional space.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
more of a feeling.
The whole map has moved from really literal cartography to this other abstract form.
Wait, does that mean you have a
And
list
that-
of what the different dimensions are?
Yes, up here. So we've gone through the blank page. We've gone
Yeah.
through the paint level,
Yeah.
and this panel is at the 1-inch square collage.
So we're beginning a city on this map.
Yeah. These folders all contain collage material.
Oh, cool. This is a mix of real maps. Like this is the Vatican.
Yeah.
But then this is stuff you illustrated and
Right.
okay.
Yeah. Now, the 17 is significant. We're going to start at that point, but we're going to add 17 blocks. And
Wait. How did
that's
you didn't think about that?
no. I attempt to think as little as possible.
Okay.
I want it to be as random as possible. I don't close my eyes when I put it down, but I might as well.
Okay.
I just slap it on.
That's mad. That's the first thing I've seen today that's really distressing to me.
We just put down 510
City blocks.
city
So we need
blocks.
to put down 7
I'm going to
more.
make a note of that. That represents 400 people.
In previous decades, Jerry used the map's total population as a measure of how much time had passed within his world. But he stopped because as the map got more complex, the system started to come apart at the seams. It's very red where they live.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
This is a sort of, I read this as like a sort of toxic river.
Yeah. Okay. We only want 17, so 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'll throw a park in there. So with that, I'm going to complete the new town. So I better put the park next to the center here.
I worry you're thinking there. You
Uh-oh.
told me.
I know. Well, part of me can't resist. Now, it's a brand new town. We have to find a name for it.
Oh.
And there's a whole process for that.
Yep, okay.
So these are all town names. But some towns have been eliminated by the void. So we don't need their printed out names anymore. What I need to find is a name that doesn't exist, the town doesn't exist anymore. Let's try Norvin.
Norvin's on them, it's used.
Yep, so that's no good.
What about
Nopewolf?
I keep wanting to be involved. No, that's
That still exists. Brosm's there.
Quinston's nice.
Tanzan.
What do you think of Quinston?
Quinston?
It was.
Hey!
No, I just thought it was under
Very
like a
close,
nice name.
right?
Yeah.
Tanzan.
He's not going for it.
Webtown. There, see?
It's been eliminated.
Webtown
Yeah.
was smothered by Void 206 in 1646.
Wow.
So-
Would the people make a new Webtown? No.
Well, they have tried, but that didn't work out very well.
No, but if Webtown was eliminated and we're building a new town, could this be
It could be,
a new Webtown?
well, it could be if it were in a different dimension, probably. But this is in the same old dimension that the original Webtown was. And the folks who lived in the old Webtown have been transported into another dimension.
Yes. So these people, do these people? Okay, I think I'm following. These people don't know. Do they know about the original Webtown?
They might. If they read history books.
Gotcha.
There's a theory that the map is essentially a human zoo. That higher beings from we don't know where
Yeah.
have created this to resemble human habitat.
Habitation.
And it is populated with reanimated humans from Earth.
Gotcha. Right.
If
Okay.
someone dies, they come in their spaceship and they...
But would the humans in the zoo still be breeding? And
Yes,
yeah.
they're reanimated. They're just brought to life again. But the deal is they live at the same age they were at when they died.
Oh.
They just stayed.
When you say there's a theory, is it the theory? Do you have multiple theories?
There's one other principal theory about the map, is that it's a two-dimensional place.
Like a flatland.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these two-dimensional people can at this map and see where they are, because since they only have 2 dimensions, they can't really see anything around them.
Okay, but the map. Okay.
Webtown is at North 21, West 20, and it was created in 1663, and the population is 7,600.
Okay, and then the
Now,
card gets placed back in the deck.
Back
On
on
top.
top, and we go into the next one. Oh, it's another 17.
Oh, we're doing another card today.
Yeah.
As we flipped through the map, I noticed more and more panels where Jerry had buried his own art. Some of it decades in the making, under white paper. Like an ethereal natural disaster, Jerry refers to this as the void. And now he was starting to populate this as well, but with something else.
These are notes people have written to me. Some are journals of mine. A lot of it is me at my age trying to record my life.
Oh.
Because I save things. I spent 3 years at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And then I transferred from Ann Arbor to Berkeley. All my friends, close friends, were back in Ann Arbor. So and this was the 1960s, so we wrote letters back and forth. And I saved those letters.
Are you cutting up the originals?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, is that bittersweet? Or do you not care?
A little bit.
Okay. That's really interesting. So the void is actually made up of your...
Yeah, that's the void. The initial level of the void is basically white or off-white.
And then you kind of develop it.
And then there's a second level that's all black and white print.
And that's when you
where
you
a lot of
destroy
the letters
artifacts that
go.
you collected from...
Yeah.
That's quite touching and sad.
It's a way for me to preserve it.
Did it used to be more like a real place?
Yes.
When did that change?
In the 80s. Started with the limbs. That was a real radical breakthrough for me. Sticking them on collage style. Every time I make a change in the rules, I make a note of it in here.
Oh my God. I spent 10, 11, 12 years of my life, I'm still kind of doing it, for a living, like basically reading rule books. This to me is like, this has so much like anima, like energy.
Everywhere you looked, there was another system. The map could only be painted using a palette of colors that was strictly remixed, then recorded. At one point, Jerry had an entire league of sports teams existing in-world and would simulate games between them using yet another system.
I'm going to be honest, Jerry, this map seems like a lot of work.
It is, but I like doing it.
Yeah.
I like doing it because it's full of surprises.
It might not surprise you to know that Jerry's love of systems has found its way into the rest of his life as well.
Well, there's the old clothing thing that I've kind of abandoned that. But in even-numbered months, I would wear all solid colored clothes. And in odd-numbered months, all patterns.
Right.
It was difficult to find patterned pants or shoes.
Yeah.
Not socks. Socks are...
Socks are fine.
Yeah. So I kind of quit that. But yeah, and then when it comes to the farm, I have trails. We'll see some of those. Odd-numbered days of the month, we go counterclockwise, and even-numbered, we go clockwise. I do everything as though I'm going to live forever. And that's probably not going to happen, but it's a nice approach, I think.
Inside this man was a mischievous and chaotic artist, but one who found comfort in tying himself up with rules. It was a pleasure to spend time with him, which was a relief, as we were about to spend the next 3 days assembling his work on our hands and knees. Day 1. The best local venue big enough to construct Jerry's map was the Strong Heart Centre, a community space belonging to the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians, whose tribal council had been kind enough to allow us to do something that even we didn't fully understand. It wasn't lost on us that this was a pretty special place to lay out Jerry's map, and we want to thank the Grand Traverse Band once again for inviting us into their giant turtle resting here on the shore of the Great Lakes.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nervous at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Very.
Oh, very nervous.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong with assembling 4,100?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. See, that's what we're talking about.
We had access to an entire basketball court, and by our estimations, it would be just big enough.
When you look at it like that, it doesn't look that bad. Okay, let's get to work.
At our disposal, we had one Nick, Jerry's assistant who'd actually come up with a plan, 20 volunteers with no plan, working a shift system, maybe like 8 knee pads, only 2 of these special sticks, which would not be enough, and quite literally 9,000 1,000 stickers to gum the whole thing to the floor. And basically, what we had to do is assemble one mega perfectly spaced grid.
This is the hardest part of the whole thing.
Once Meg placed our first all-important panels, we were underway.
Meg, if you want to see if your knee is too, we got some nice.
I know.
She's in the zone.
She's in the zone. We don't want to mess her up.
Yeah, except that people are already wrecking my zone.
Fun thing about Jerry's map, we were starting our build from the dead center, which is the most urban map-like part. It's the closest look we'd get at what this world used to be. From here, things would only get stranger.
It's very satisfying. And I can tell my back is going to be shredded tomorrow when we're a third of the way through.
These posterons come on little sheets, and the backing has to be peeled off. It's very tedious, but I'm pretty used to it by now.
It's not a competition. It's not. This is a beautiful collaborative art construction process. But if it was a competition, I would have just nailed the east-west parallel faster than any of these guys.
With a couple of rows laid out, the map was starting to take shape. Look at that! Only 4,000 panels left to go.
We're really at the edge of existence
Yeah.
over here, aren't
Yeah.
we? This is like where reality starts to break down. Like it's all so civilized over there, and then
Yes,
this is like, yeah.
chaos.
This was the first time I'd seen panels laid out consecutively, and I was shocked at how much of Jerry's own work had been eaten by that white void. And maybe my focus wandered a bit.
I found S32, which obviously should be here, and then it's like, yeah, so we're just gonna very quickly remove the... Oh, it was working so fast. Oh, it's lost its stick. This isn't a filmable moment. If Jerry hadn't made it so abstract, it would be obvious when the panels didn't line up. But because he's a fucking artist, it's possible to make a mistake and not know. Jerry, how we doing, do you think?
We're doing great. We're doing too well.
I'm doing well. You're just sort of standing there. You're just kind of... It's amazing what a human can do just working a little bit at a time.
You know, twice I've sold panels to two different women, and they wrote me back and said, I bought this for my husband. He's a writer, to show him what persistence can...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Same story from the two different women. One was in Iowa and one was in Australia.
Oh, really? And both had the
Yeah.
idea of buying it for
Yeah.
their partner to show if you stick at something.
Yeah.
That's kind of one way to look at this map, isn't it? It's like, you know, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert or whatever.
Right.
Like, but what happens if you work on something for your entire life? I mean, I also think that this map looks incredible, but just looking at it doesn't reflect the fact that you've erased and rebuilt and erased and rebuilt and erased and rebuilt. So it's like, it's exponentially, to view the map properly, you'd actually, okay, that's the next People Make Games video. We do the map in 3D space to show the layers over time as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Work continued smoothly that afternoon until I announced we were missing a panel when we weren't.
It's tragic because I sent up the alarm that the panel was missing. Actually, I'd failed to separate two pieces of paper. I think I gained a lot of credibility from how hard I worked this morning. There was also a moment where I was the one who said that the initial vertical column was off center. And I think that, again, brought me a lot of kudos. I think I've just lost some of it.
Slightly ashamed, I thought this was a good time for me to stretch my back out and make the most of us being in a gymnasium.
You know, all kind of like neck and shoulders, upper back,
Oh, look at that.
spine and trunk, mid back and spine, lower back and spine.
I'd never seen this device before in my life. I still haven't. I think it might be the only one on Earth.
You know, one of my mentors when I was coming up as a games journalist said, you can have talent or you can have just a total lack of dignity. I chose both.
And with that, we placed our final panels of day 1.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to have a hot bath for my back, and we're going to do it again until it's finished.
But before we come back for day 2, let's give you a proper look at something you've only seen a peek of so far. Jerry's deck of cards, the arcane object that powers all of this. Not only does it look like the cursed plaything of a trickster god, it actually handles Jerry's admin. The deck is what tells him to scan panels, preserving different eras of the map. And these days it also tells him to go and journal. Jerry hates journaling and often ignores this card when it comes up.
Make blanks. When I say blank, I refer to these.
Oh wait, these are going to be map tiles.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, so like on the edge of the map,
Yeah.
you just slot
Yeah.
on something that looks
Yep.
super
You'll
complete.
see. You'll see when we lay
When we
it all out.
lay it all out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Spatter.
Spatter. Well, there's a little spatter.
Yeah.
left in the world.
That's putting ink spatter on.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there's a quick shuffle.
Quick shuffle deck. Silk screening
Yeah.
panels.
Oh, this is the one for Meg. This panel, and the 8 surrounding ones, I put in an envelope and give them to Meg to
Oh.
be silk screened.
Oh.
And that's her choice.
Cool.
Oh, this has to do with the paints. This has to do with my thinking the paints were becoming
Too dark.
and murky.
And then so you got a new
So,
white color.
yep.
That's clever. This is game balance. Is what you're
What?
doing.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
I'm
balancing
glad you
the system.
explained that to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spatter.
More spatter.
Some of these cards are so. Look at this. Look how cool that is. That's awesome.
Well, the longer they're in the pack, the more they get added to them. Because every time it comes up, I usually add something.
Shuffle deck thorough.
Thorough. Yes, that's one card at a time.
Color.
No color.
That's just the 9 of spades. We just play. Yep.
Yeah. Journal.
Journal.
Scan for overlays.
overlays.
Oh, overlays. The overlays are these kinds of sheets, like that.
Ooh.
And so I'll put this in the printer and print it.
Oh, you
Usually
put it on top of. I've seen panels where
Yeah.
you've done this. There's something underneath
top
that you
of
just
the-
like put a whole.
Yeah, so I'll take one of the collage sheets
Yeah. And then
and put it in
suddenly
the
you
printer.
print
and
all these city streets.
print this on top of it.
Add one card to the deck.
Yeah, and I have spare cards down there. There's the one that says add 2 cards. And there's one that says deduct 2 cards.
Oh.
So I don't know, it stayed about the same size.
Oh.
It's around 100, a little over 100.
Take next city panel to highest dimension. Yep.
When it's checkerboard of neutrals. What was I thinking? 1 inch
Checkerboard of
checkerboard of
neutrals.
neutrals. Boy, that comes up and I'm
You're in trouble.
trouble.
That's your.
Yep.
That Jerry was
higher
operating in a dimension
dimension,
that
1
you would
inch
not.
collage, add 1 panel, new color.
Next higher dimension.
Yeah,
if a
I'm
void
beginning
Wait,
to,
you
what
can do
call
higher
it?
dimensions in the void.
So
There's
this-
white, and then there's your memory layer.
Yeah,
And then
there's a city layer.
Okay.
We didn't see any of those today.
No.
They're void cities. We think that's where those reanimated folks get shipped
Get
to.
shipped to.
They get, yeah.
Yeah. The term for this in the games industry, like the meaning behind something that's quite the story of what's really
Yeah.
going on. We call that lore.
Oh,
Lore. So like
oh.
what we would say in the games industry is that Jerry's map has lore, and the lore is that actually people are dying and then they are reanimated in the void cities, and that's
Okay.
and then people get really excited about lore, and
Oh, lore. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
it is. Yeah.
I like knowing that term.
I cannot overstate how much it's not the map that Jerry is designing, but this deck. The map is just him being bossed around by unhinged decisions he might have made 13 years ago. Interestingly though, as a young man, Jerry actually went to school for architecture, and you can see it in the earliest records of the map. Right, enough of that. back to the build.
It's day 2. It's Sunday, the gym is closed, but we're here putting in work. We did the final count yesterday and we completed just 35% of the map. That's not great. A lot of us are really achy, spines given out. We resemble prawns. I would love to end today on like 72%. That would be good going into the third and most painful day. Let's see if we get there.
After another couple of hours, I was keen to skive off work, so I went to chat to Meg. Jerry's wife was an artist in her own right and had known the map longer than almost anyone. Heads up, PMG audience, from this point we're not going to show you wide shots of the map in progress until it's done.
I love that it's always changing. This map is completely different from any other installation we've ever done because this is now.
I see it as very organic.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, especially because it looks like, it looks like something that grows in a Petri dish.
I think of it as the combination of AI, climate change, Donald Trump, the Ukraine war.
Okay.
It's like blowing up.
I see the climate change. I see the erosion of cities. The Ukraine war, I mean, I know you had to introduce violence to it a while back, and that's what the void represents.
The void represents,
Also,
yeah.
what grows in the void, what follows is like
I know,
blood.
is a petri dish. Is blood, yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about like AI, Trump, Ukraine, climate change,
Nobody knows what's going to happen with all of these significant changes going on in our world at this point.
Right.
And Jerry, in my mind, Jerry's map at this point is sort of expressing that unrest in our minds about the future.
yeah, he can't make a map that's just cities, rivers,
Yeah,
and ordered
exactly.
society. It
Now,
has to
he didn't
reflect.
plan it like this. That was that has just been things set in motion through the cards. But this is the result.
It really is antithetical to like where society's going and the internet and productivity.
Absolutely. And we've always enjoyed being in that lane.
What's your favorite part of the map?
Oh, God. I mourn often the disappearance of the map, parts of the map.
I get really,
Yeah.
I feel a combination of relief and distress when I see that the original panel
Has been
is,
yeah.
is half eaten by the void.
Yeah.
You can't destroy that.
I know.
And he
But-
kind of didn't. He
Yeah,
nibbled
exactly.
at it.
He nibbled at it. But I respect and love the map at every phase, I would say. But I sometimes mourn the changes.
What do you think the map says about Jerry?
He has always been this extraordinary combo, which is one reason I fell in love with him, of right and left brain. And his systematized brain can come up with these coordinates and the whole structure of the map, and yet he tosses it away because he's willing to take chances. I love that about him. It also drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's honest, we've been married for 44 years,
44 years is good going.
Yeah. I think we'll kind of stay in this for a little while longer.
We've just eaten lunch and I ate too big of a sandwich and now I can't bend over anymore. So this is a good time for me to talk to you about my favorite place in the map. Allow me to introduce to you the town of Staley, which is Meg's second name. Staley's got it all. Staley has some really nice screen printing. This is a collaboration between Meg and Jerry. We have really nice Romanesque screen printing. We have a lot of these old city sections, which have mostly been destroyed now, but you can still see it's a town. I like to imagine that I live in Staley. We've got a lovely bay. We've got where's my stick? I need a stick to. We've got an airport, we've got flight lines, we've got all this water, which immediately becomes really dark and ominous. What do the people of Staley see on the other side of the water? They see the void, and then like horrible, horrific red dimension stuff, and then behind the red dimension there's a ziggurat. There is also, I love this, this is something Jerry used to do, but then faded from the deck. But Jerry used to build public infrastructure. That's a wall designed to keep the void away. And you can see some places in the map where these walls still hold. So the town of Staley has this like kind of bleak, failed civic project to hold back the void, which is coming in the wrong places. And it's like, this is a place. Really speaks to me. And Jerry's probably going to destroy it.
Preemptively mourning the township of Staley, I went to get some air with its executioner.
Do you like the map?
I love the map.
When do you love it the most?
When it's there in my hands and I'm touching it and I'm changing it, and I'm pretty detached from that animal.
I was going to say,
right.
you haven't seen it laid out for 14 years.
Right.
So is it kind of a surprise to you as we're laying it
It
out?
always is.
Really?
Always is, yes.
When you lay it out?
Yeah.
Are you looking at it and then thinking, oh, I need to change the deck, there's too much of this, or?
Yes, yeah. That's the positive impact of a display like this for me.
It's not showing it to people, it's being like, oh, I need to change this about my process.
Yeah, I'm not appreciating the void very much these days.
Really? Even the second layer of the void where it's your receipts and your...
That's better. I wish there were more void cities developing.
Turns out these huge, massive swathes of destroyed art actually doesn't feel that good.
No.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying for days. Is like, oh boy, you sure erased a lot of this. And then now you see it laid out and you're like, oh yeah, that is bad. Yeah. The
I'll
void,
mend my ways. Come back in 10 years, I guarantee.
all the void will be filled in and coming
Yeah.
out. See, that's
I'm
not-
also sick of the red dimension. Just sick of it.
I was looking at the map for the last few days, and when I see the void, and when I see you weaving ephemera from your life through it, the emails, the receipts, photographs, I saw a lot of mortality in the map. I saw death, and we talked about how you're trying to take these things and sort of trying to save them. And so to me, initially, it felt like it was about legacy. And then I had the most amazing conversation with your wife, where she said she didn't quite see it that way at all. She said that when you turn 70 years old, you've spent your whole life looking forward at what's coming next. But then you arrive at this wonderful moment, like cresting a hill, where suddenly you can look backwards. And you can get all this richness and joy from looking in reverse and seeing the whole life. And so she said the map wasn't about mortality. It's actually a reflection. It's like a diary on a life well lived.
Well, it works both ways, right? Yes, it's revisiting the past and savoring those moments. And over my shoulder, is what's coming. And for me, what that does is it puts pressure on me to go faster.
To go faster?
And do more, yes.
Oh, wow.
Because
some would say you've done quite a lot already.
Come back in 10 years. And
I love that. How would you feel if, after you've passed, someone close to you wanted to continue working on the map?
That would be cool. As a matter of fact, I pretty recently, in the last couple of weeks, had fantasies of, I could give an artist like 20 panels and say, okay, this is the seed. Just take it from there and go wherever you want.
You know what that reminds me of? When a tree falls in the forest, it is an inconceivable release of energy out into the environment. That the amount of insects and small life forms that feast on it and then breed and then spread. Like it's almost like if this enormous oak tree were to fall, that you would then create seeds and energy for artists everywhere to continue working on the same ecosystem.
You know, there is a subreddit called Jerry Mapping.
Jerry Mapping?
Jerry Mapping, yes. And it was devoted to people who do mapping in the style of Jerry Gretzinger. People are intrigued with the idea, but their interpretations of it are totally different.
I mean, Jerry Mapping, it's a wonderful word. It's like jerry rigging.
Yeah,
right?
or gerrymandering.
Oh no!
By the end of day 2, we'd laid over 3,000 panels, which meant it was almost time to say goodbye to the Great Lakes, to the map, and to Jerry and Meg. Fortunately, we had another 1,000 panels to distract us. It's day 3. Let's go.
Every project is gonna, encounter some hurdles as people get tired. These are my colleagues today. How much did you two drink yesterday?
1 glass of wine.
1 glass of wine?
3
3.
bottles.
I heard 1 box of wine and then several bottles. And what I would like to know is how many panels have you two installed upside down in the last hour?
5, 6.
Interesting. That's not my count at all.
Prince, you had a margarita last night.
Yes. And how many mistakes have I made? 1, because these two are putting me off because they're... Don't talk to me like...
As we entered the final hours of the build, Jerry offered me one last glimpse at the mother of all rulebooks.
Somebody, I think it was on Reddit, said, oh, well, this is an analog generative art piece.
Yes. But it's one where, usually with generative art pieces, or with digital generation, you are creating a machine and then it creates the piece of art.
Right.
But you are running the engine, stopping the engine, making a change, running the engine,
Yes.
stopping, making a change.
Hey,
Right.
As we neared completion, the room was abuzz with anticipation. Even the local press turned up. Their cameras were, honestly, a bit bigger than ours, and that's fine. This was it. The map was nearly complete. And when we had just 1 panel left, we gave it to Jerry to do the honors.
oh,
It was a breathtaking installation. I hope that comes across on camera. It's this fabulous Technicolor expanse. But for us who'd built it, it was something else. Because our experience of this art wasn't just visual, it was physical. We'd built this on our knees with a community, watching it emerge, strip by strip, piece by piece, spotting new secrets and sharing them with one another. But also watching the panels we'd fallen in love with yesterday receding into the distance. We had traveled this landscape together with Jerry and Meg and so many others. And then, in something that felt practically blasphemous, Jerry invited us to take off our shoes and walk into the map with him.
You know, there's the question with art of like, how close should you stand to
Oh,
art
yeah.
changes? This is unfortunate for the people coming later, but I think the best way to absorb this map is to be in it and walking through it.
I had a fantasy once of showing the map upside down, about 4 feet off the floor, with people on rolling boards. So and flashlights are
So they're
like,
almost mechanics boards and
yeah,
then
and
they're
they're
sliding
looking up
underneath
at.
it.
That way, they'd always be 4 feet from it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
that requires some other
That's next time.
engineering. Yeah.
So no part of you looks at this and thinks that's enough.
No.
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 You look at it.
I get concerned I'm moving more slowly. My hands are not. Oops, I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sure it's important.
It's Meg.
Yeah, please take it.
Hello there. You're calling, I'm standing in the middle of the map and they're filming me, and all of this is on camera and microphone.
Are you drinking water?
Oh, she's calling to ask if I'm drinking water. You know, you called me and asked me that last time, and I swore I was going to go out to the lobby and have some water, and I didn't do it.
Somebody to get you water.
Okay, yes. I have 3 witnesses. Okay. All right, sweetie. All right. Okay, bye.
We did, in fact, make sure Jerry got some water, which he'd need. Because for the first time in 14 years, for one night only, the map was to be exhibited to the public. And Jerry, he seemed happy to share his world with us, but it was clear that not only was this thing not finished, it wasn't really for us. It was the process that compelled him. We were just bystanders who'd been lucky enough to meet him and his map on their epic journey together.
Hello, this is Chris here, back in the UK now, and I thought you might like to join me as I go to get this framed. So Jerry, being the absolute sweetheart that he is, gifted me one of his cards as we left Michigan. It's been retired from his deck, and it has the number 36 on, which you can see there, and a couple of rules as well. One says new color, I understand that, and then one says population 2, which, well, frankly, I don't. Anyways, you can probably tell by now, this was, by some distance, the most ambitious documentary People Make Games has ever produced. It required myself and Quinns to travel over to the States to spend a week with Jerry, Meg, and their family. We worked with another camera operator over there as well. Shout out to Alex. We needed his drone. We did time lapses. Then there's the logistics of constructing this thing at the Strongheart Center and all the volunteers and the exhibit. That's not to mention everything that's happened back home, the planning, the edit, all of the things that Annie has been chipping away at for months. This was a big swing for us, and we came back with just the most incredible treasure trove of footage to share with you all. Hold that thought, let me just pop in here. I think that's the one. Yeah, with it raised. Okay.
I think that's really nice.
Cool. It is really nice. Anyway, while filming this documentary, we found ourselves in an interesting situation where, first of all, we've spent more money making this thing than I think we'd ever spent on one single project before now. And we also got back from Michigan with just all of this additional lovely footage that couldn't make its way into the final cut. And so here's what we did to alleviate both of those problems. We've teamed up with Nebula, who sponsored this documentary, in order to create an exclusive companion video that's going to sit alongside this piece, featuring some really nice additional moments with Quinns and Jerry, a look inside Meg's own studio where she tells us about the fashion business that she and her husband used to run together, and a whole range of stuff actually. And that video is available to watch right now, today. To do so, you'll want to head over to Nebula, which, as many of you will know by now, is a streaming platform that's home to loads of interesting, thoughtful creators like Lindsay Ellis, Tom Nicholas, FD Signifier, Jacob Gala, loads of folks. And over there, you can watch all of their videos entirely ad-free. And Nebula has also increasingly become a place that's interested in supporting more ambitious, sometimes quite expensive, video work. Which is why they've stepped in to help us fund this documentary we just had to make about a man and his map. It's also why, if you're a Philosophy Tube fan, for example, you'll know that she was able to team up with Nebula to film an exquisite live performance of her Shakespearean play, The Prince, which is just something you're gonna struggle to make happen on youtube.com alone, let me tell you. We publish all of PMG's videos over on Nebula already, without ads, as do hundreds of other creators, and many of them are now making exclusive videos over there as well, like this companion piece of ours that you can watch today. If you use our link, go.nebula.tv/peoplemakegames, you'll be able to access a healthy discount to the Nebula subscription, slashing the annual sub in half. If you're in the UK, for example, that means instead of paying £60 per year, you'll pay just £30, which works out at £2.50 per month, and that same deal exists in USD, or in euros, or in a bunch of other currencies. And to be blunt, PMG gets a cut of any sign-up, so if If you do end up going over there, you'll be supporting us directly in the process. When Quince first pitched this story to us, we wanted to do it right. In this case, that meant bringing in the extra funding to make it happen in the way that we felt this documentary deserved. And so consider this, I guess, a bit of a test case for just how ambitious we can be with the stories that we tell when the right opportunity presents itself. Collaborating with Nebula like this has made it possible to go all in on the idea, and hey, it's also meant, I think, that we've also created a really nice extra video that some of you are gonna really enjoy. And look at that. Thank you for joining us on this one. We have just been so happy to have met Jerry and his map and his family, and to have shared their story here on this channel, where I hope we've kind of continued to stretch out the definition of what we mean when we think about people making games. Sometimes it looks even a little bit like that. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Oh, also stick around for the credits because they're quite fun.
Is it done? It's never done. It looks good. Oh no! Alright, I'll do better now. This is what working for Jerry is like. Let's go.
Oh my God, that was amazing.